I love it.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, we've got a couple of special guests joining us for chat today, and you saw our band that's going to be playing as well.
Super excited. For once, they agreed to do a little blues before noon, and we appreciate that. We have Paul Bialis here. He's the creator and photographer who created this new book. It's fantastic. It's called Schlitz Brewing Art. It showcases abandoned buildings at the old Milwaukee Schlitz Brewery. He brought along with him from the fourth generation Schlitz family member, Peter Eline. So excited to have you guys here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, gentlemen. Nice to have you.
And I told you, I'm like, I thought about calling in sick today. My voice sounds terrible, but I'm like, I can't because Paul's here today. And I know your mom, and I'm like, she'd be disappointed too. So,
thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Your book is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And one of the things that I remember from the time you were here talking about your Pabst book is that you're not a professionally trained photographer, right?
No.
You just have a love for it.
I have a love for it, and the photographs in these buildings were so amazing that I felt they had to be shared. And it turns out other people share that passion to see these amazing buildings.
Well, and it's part of our history. It's part of where we live. So why did you decide to do it, and what will people see inside the book?
I decided to do it because of the history. I mean, the significance of Schlitz to Milwaukee, to the world, it's massive. And to get a chance to go in these buildings and share and tell the story. And the photos in these books, it's a photography book, it shares the story of the workers and the buildings and the meaning, and you get the significance of it. And what's mixed in there is some history, there's some historical quotes, there's a CD included. You get to hear from former employees what it was like to be there. I never had that chance, and it shares that story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's one of the other things that sets your book apart is this CD that's included, and it kind of puts people back in there, because I feel like when you just look at a photograph, you're allowed to sort of use your own imagination and kind of think about what does that picture mean. You don't necessarily tell people what it means, but I love that the CD gives a little bit of context for people.
Yeah, the CD adds a lot, and it was so nice to have some local musicians write some songs about Schlitz. And so you get some local music, you get the interviews. I even play some ukulele and guitar on there. It's a full, fun thing to add into the book. It really adds a lot.
I think it's neat. I mean, we're looking at some beautiful pictures. The fact that you say you're just kind of a novice photographer, I think you got to take that out of your vocabulary, because clearly you know what you're doing. These are beautiful. So what are we looking at? What types of pictures are we seeing here?
Yeah, right here we're looking at the Brew House, the Schlitz Brew House. And when you go in, it's this massive structure built in 1890. And as you look through, there's things in there. One of the most significant things in there is the ironwork that you can kind of see in this photo. There's an American flag that was hanging over the brew house.
Yes, we saw that.
Looks kind of torn and tattered, and really kind of gives the American pride into the work and into these amazing breweries that meant so much to Milwaukee.
The thing that always strikes me about this book, the Schlitz book, as well as the Pabst book, is that it's like time was frozen. It's like it closed, and it's like it shut down, and there wasn't a lot of planning or thought, it doesn't look like, put into taking everything out.
Yeah, things were left.
And leaving it vacant. There are things left in break rooms and flags hanging and open bottles of Schlitz.
Yeah, I found that amazing too.
That's right.
What?
I took care of that when I was there.
Right.
Can you imagine how fermented that would be? Yeah.
Those things helped me tell the story. I mean, that was part of it. Tell the story of the workers and the significance of Schlitz, and in the Pabst book, Pabst. And those items left there really are the pinnacle part of the books.
Peter, what's the connection for Eline to Schlitz?
Well, it's a unique story. Is that Schlitz was founded by somebody by the name of August Krug, who was a great uncle of mine. And August Krug came over here in 1849 with a nephew of his, August Eline. And eventually the rest of the Eline brothers came over to Milwaukee from Germany. August Krug died shortly after he started the brewery in 1855, and his widow married one of the employees of the brewery, and guess what his name was?
Eline.
Joseph Schlitz. No, Joseph Schlitz. Joseph Schlitz was the accountant for the brewery, and he named the company after himself. About 20 years later, he passed away, but in his will, it was passed down to the Eline brothers. And there were up to 6 Eline brothers working there. My great-grandfather Henry was president for 43 years, up until the time of Prohibition, and when he was getting pretty on into his years. But it stayed with the Elines until it was sold in 1982.
That history is fascinating. What about Paul's book? Did you, at first we were like, I don't know about this kid.
I received a blind phone call last March from Paul introducing himself, saying he wanted to put a book together about Schlitz, and we agreed to meet a few days later, and we met for lunch and showed me what he did with the Pabst book, and that really fired me up to bring out some of my stories, some of my old Schlitz paraphernalia, and I was able to contribute a lot to the book, and it brought back a lot of memories, because I used to work there.
Yeah.
And I used to work right next to the Brew House. And when I needed a break to get away from the office and the tensions, I would walk across one of those platforms and look down on the brew kettles and take in that odor, or that aroma of fresh beer. It was just incredible.
Would you drink one too?
Not when I was in the brewing process, because it wasn't fermented at the time.
Okay.
It took time to do that.
Yeah.
But it was a unique experience, and then turned out to be somewhat of a sad experience when it did leave Milwaukee.
Yeah. I bet.
But it is back now under a different ownership, under a lesser known, less distribution, but it is still available, and it's good to see that, and the Pabst is still available too.
Yeah, it's nice that we're celebrating our history, and here's the information so that you can get your hands on one of the books. You can go to the website lakecountryphoto.com, and today only it's 10% off the book. That's how you can get your hands on it. So there it is, but we also have a giveaway right now, so if you'd like a copy of Paul's book, you can call us right now at 414-799-4444. Caller number 7 will win a copy of that Schlitz Brewery art book. Thanks so much for being here, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
As we mentioned, there's a CD included with this incredible book that features stories from brewery workers and historians. It also has some original music.
And so today we brought in a band featured in the album. Here's some information on them. Take it away, you guys.
Feeling fine, Mr. E-Line. That last batch was right on time. Mr. E-Line, I've been savoring that 60s recipe. When I get tired of paying dues, a brown bottle to kill the blues. I need a little Joe for a little kick, a big tall boy for the thirsty miss. You got us feeling fine, Mr. E-Line. Somewhere between Pleasant and Cherry, southeast of 2nd and Vine, Milwaukee River flows, the beer barrel rolls down Brewers Hill till we get our fill. Malted hops till the music stops. Schlitz will fix your brown bottle blues.
That was Honest Monday Band.
That is awesome. And there is, again, the information for Paul's book. You can get it today only for 10% off, so make sure that you visit his website to find out more.